Swastiastu. In this video, I explain about the utilization of management tools in the face of changing decision making and to improve performance. Before I start to the material, I would like to explain my lecture from this subject. Dr. Si Nyoman Silosurdadi, SPD, SAG, MPD. And my name is Casya Pramananiani from 3B Class English Education Department. And now, let's go to the material. Management of change is a form of business carried out to manage all the consequences resulting from change in a company. Change management is a tool, process, and also a technique for managing people in the side of the change process to achieve the required results to effectively bring about change in team, individual, and wider system. Next, I would like to tell some experts define change management as follows. First is Kaufman and Lutus, 2007, explained that change management is a structured approach and it's used to help teams, individuals, or organizations to change from current condition to better condition. Two is Winardi, 2011, in his book explained that change management is an effort made by managers to manage change more effectively, which requires the knowledge related motivation, groups, leadership, conflict, and communication. And third, Wibowo, 2012, argues that change management is a process that is made systematically in applying the tools, requires and knowledge need to influence change in those who will be affected by the process. And meanwhile, Nohemer, 2007, says that change management is a process, technique, and a tools used to manage the change process on the individual side to achieve a required results and to implement change more effectively with change agent system and teams that are more large. Next is management goals. First is get maximum result with minimum effort and requires. The first main objective of the management is to get maximum result with minimum effort and resource. So management prioritizes the effectiveness and effectively of efforts and resource to the fullest of optimally. Number two is improving the efficiency of production factors. This is a management is not only for the effectively of effort and resource, but also for the efficiently of the operative various factors of production. Next material is change type. Change consists of 3 different types, where each type requires a different change management strategy. And the 3 kinds of change are: first, routine change, which have been planned and developed through organizational process. Number 2 is improvement change, which include the benefits or value that have been achieved by the organization. Number 3 is innovative change, which includes the way in which the organization provides its service. There is basically no single suitable approach of the change management. And the methods used for communication, leadership, and coordination of activities must be adapted to meet the needs of each changing situation. First, pace and stage of change management. Hennis 2005 said there are several paces that can be taken in carrying of the change management, namely pace A, positioning value, the determining strategy position. This pace is stage is a system of thinking where what is the company's strategic goals and position can be clearly explained, and this position will be achieved in a change of company or organization. Phase B measures goals. This space will determine the various measures and needed to assess whether the objective have been achieved. And page C, assessment strategy. In this space, the gap between the current situation and the desired situation will be determined, so that police can be determined to achieve all situation and condition better. And for page D, action level or change activities. This phase is the phase of implementing and explaining the strategy, which will then integrate with all activities, process, relationship, and change needed to be able to reduce gaps or to implement the objectives. And for the phase E, informant scan or identification of the external informant. This phase will carry out all identification of the external environment that is capable of influencing change. The result of the identification will provide direction and change that will be made in the future. Next is barriers to management. First is habits. Humans tend to rely on habits or programmed response. When faced with a change in the tendency to respond in ways that are constant to being a source of retention. Number 2 is economic factors. Occur because changes are considered to reduce a person's income. Change to establish work tax or work returns can be also generate economic fear if people worry that they will not be able to perform the new tax or routine to their previous standards, especially when wages are linked to productivity. Number 3, fear of facing the unknown. Facing something that is not known causes fear of uncertainty for the future. Next is overcome resistance to change. First is education, communication and socialization. Information about the process of change that occurs in practice will always get additional space, which can be sometimes be misleading and have negative impact. The information circulating in confusing. Number 2 is participation. By providing opportunities for employees participate in the change process, it can be reduced the level of resistance from employees, because it is impossible for us to reject a change decision which we participate in the decision making process. Number 3 is provide support and commitment. The company's support and commitment to employees is very important in the change process to minimize fear and anxiety from employees. Providing consultation and therapy, providing training is a new skills are some of the steps that show the company's support and commitment to assisting employees in the change process. Number 4 is build positive relationship. Employees will be more willing to accept change if employees have the confidence in the management implementing the change process. If management is able to facilitate the creation of positive relationship, employees can be more receptive to change process even by employees who do not agree with change. Number 5 is manipulation and cooperation. Although manipulation has a negative connection, the manipulation referred to here is to discuss effort to influence the change process, reduce employees' resistance. Number 6 is coercion. The last way to reduce level of resistance from employees to apply coercion or apply threats directly to employees who resist a change. Next material is management benefits. First is helping managers and members to design strategies through a more systematic, rational, and effective approach. Number 2 is get maximum result through a true process. The process must be carried out according to the management function. Number 3 is management will make it easier for us to present a framework for the short and long term so that the target will be easier to set. Number 4 is assist in effective allocation of resources. And the last thing, encouraging the growth of professional attitude in every member of the organization who is interested with carrying out their duties. Next material is definition of decision making. Decision making is an action which determines the outcome in solving a problem by choosing a path on action among several alternatives by going through mental process and logical thinking, and also consider all the alternative options that have a negative or positive effect. Identification stage. This stage is the stage of recognizing problems, opportunities that arise, and a diagnosis is made. And development stage. This stage is an activity of searching for exciting standard produce or solution or designing a new solution. And next is selection stage. In this stage, the choice of solution is made in 3 ways of forming the selection, namely by decision maker judgment based on experience or intuition, not logical analysis, by logical and systematic analysis of alternatives, and by bargaining when selection involves a group of decision makers and all political maneuvers involved. There is then the decision is formally accepted and authorization is made. Next, the relationship between decision making with achieving goals. Every human being has a goal to be achieved. These goals can be achieved individually or through groups. Organizations are containers or tools used by humans to coordinate all their action with the aim of interaction with each other to achieve the same goals. Achieving goals is concept that is related to the future but not achieve goals. We are faced with scarcity to the concept uncertainty. The main concept in this management study are based on the availability of information about the future events, uncertainty, and the opportunity for unweighted event occur and cause us to seek, collect and process information into data that can be used as a guide in making decisions. The difficulty in bringing about the concerns or possible outcomes with reality prompts us to define intelligent decision-making process. First is performance. Performance etymologically, performance comes from the word performance. As stated by the Mangkunegara, that the term performance comes from the word job performance or actually performance, or work achievement or actually achievement by someone, namely by the quality and quantity of work achieved by an employee in carrying out his duties in accordance with the responsibility given to him. How to improve performance? First is give training. You can also send them for training, organizing by more skilled parties for more flexible and practical option. You can register employees to take online classes or webinar on the internet. This will give your employees new knowledge that can be contribute to advancing the company. Next is offer a tiered career. In addition to bonus and salary in cars, a tiered career can also buy a salary in cars or other incentive in cars will certainly make employees motivated. Next, the last thing is provide rewards for employees. You could say this point is an easy but effective way to improve employee performance. Yes, through a reward system. A reward will make the employees feel appreciated for their hard working. This kind of appreciation will absolutely motivate them to improve their performance. That's it from my presentation. Thank you very much for listening. Say it Om Santi 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 Om.